Before I get started today, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and leave a comment down below and let me know what your holy grail of movie collecting would be. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Full disclosure, I'm doing a little experiment with this video and not including movie clips for the first time ever. This is new ground for me and the goal is to see whether or not it affects the performance of the video. Normally, I would put a clip right here. Instead, maybe now I'll just make my own clips, something like this. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. So I think it was last week that I made a video basically talking about the top 5 favorite VHSs that are in my current collection. This week I'm going to talk about the top 5 VHSs that I'm currently still looking for. As you can see, it's a weekly thing for me to go out to yard sales, to antique shops, to thrift stores, and try to find VHSs that I don't already own. These are some of the movies that I picked up just on my last haul, and you can definitely look for reviews coming for all these movies sooner rather than later. So this is it. This is my top 5 VHS that I want to own. Let's get into the countdown. To be honest, there's more than 5 that I'd like to own, but I narrowed it down for the purposes of making this video. Not to mention I just always found top 5s much more interesting than top 10s because it forces the person to be more selective. Also, I'm not going to include Back to the Future 2, which is on my list, but I did mention it last week when talking about Back to the Future 1, so I want this to be an all-new list and new material for the viewers. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. Okay, so my number 5 VHS that I want to own, I've cheated already. It's a tie, but these movies are so connected that I had to put them both on here. And it's Alien and Aliens. Not only are these two movies the perfect 1-2 punch in a franchise, they are also 2 of my favorite movies of all time. They both have really basic box art on their VHSs, but I think that kind of lends itself to the minimalist approach that they actually take in the movies as well. Especially the first movie, I mean, the cover is basically an egg with a glowing green ooze pouring out of it. It's simple, but effective. As far as Aliens goes, it's very minimalist, and there's one you can get that just says Aliens on it. There is an alternate version with Ripley holding Newt on the cover. Neither are all that extravagant, but honestly with these movies, less is more, and they applied that in the movie as well. Get away from her, you bitch! My number 4 VHS that I'd like to own is The Road Warrior. The Road Warrior specifically is a very important movie to me. There is a more modern version of a VHS of The Road Warrior, but I'm not really interested in that one. I want the one that's the actual picture from the film. It's Max and Dog in the middle of the road with the light blue sky behind it. I mean, is it just me or does that image sum up this movie perfectly? You can only really know that if you've actually seen the movie, but let me know in the comments down below. This cover is just a thing of beauty to me. There's also a version that has the original title Mad Max 2 on it, but I suspect that's going to be really hard to come by considering it only went by that title in Australia. But yeah, being a huge Mad Max fan, this is a must own for me for sure. You want to get out of here? You talk to me. The number 3 VHS that I'd love to own is They Live. This movie was so important to me as a kid, and I find it that much more interesting as an adult, given how things have gone in our modern society and how relevant it is. I was also a big wrestling kid growing up, as well as a big movie kid, so to see Roddy Piper in a movie, it was like the 2 worlds crossing over, and that just blew my mind as a kid. I think there's a couple different versions of the They Live VHS. One has this weird green font, and it looks a little bit more modern, and I'm not really interested in that one. I want the more traditional brown box one with the etched-in They Live logo that we all know and love. And of course, Roddy's eye with the shades being pulled down. That's the one I had as a kid, and that's the one I'd like to find again at some point and to add to my collection. I've come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum. The number 2 VHS that I'd like to own is the original Halloween. Based on my research, there are a bunch of different VHSs of the original Halloween. I saw a Blockbuster Presents one that has Laurie on the cover with Michael standing behind her. I definitely wouldn't turn that one down because anything with Blockbuster on the cover and I'm instantly sold. I'm pretty sure there's a big plastic clamshell cased one that you can also find out there in the wild somewhere. But all I really want is the traditional one with the pumpkin and the knife, and it says The Night He Came Home. Apparently, and unfortunately for me, Halloween VHS tapes are very hard to come by and have since become a bit of a collector's item and have gone up in price. But it definitely won't stop me from looking, and I simply need to have the greatest slasher of all time in my collection. Purely and simply evil. And this is it, my number 1 VHS that I'd like to own in my collection. Anyone who knows me probably already knows the answer to this, but it is in fact The Shining. And of course, I'm talking about the Stanley Kubrick one, not that weird made-for-TV one. This is a movie that I wasn't familiar with as a kid, but I actually came to worship as an adult. As far as the movie itself, it's a masterclass of filmmaking as well as building tension. As with most of these titles, there are a few different versions of the VHS that you can find. There's this one with the white border around it that's from the Stanley Kubrick collection. I suspect this would be the one that I would be most likely to find. But I would really like this one with the black border on it and the traditional shining logo that was featured on all the posters. This is holy grail material for me, and like Halloween, this one will probably be hard to come by, but it won't stop me from hunting and adding this classic to my collection someday. Fingers crossed. Wendy, darling, light of my life, I said I'm not gonna hurt you. So that's my top 5 VHS movies that I would love to add to my collection. If you have a list of movies that you'd like to own that you don't currently, please let me know in the comments down below. I encourage everyone to support physical media when possible in an effort to preserve these works of art in the way that they were intended to be viewed from the very beginning. Let me know what you thought about all this in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.